magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday live stream main event. I am your host, Protoman. I am the face that runs this place. I am the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday. And what a Saturday. Supposedly this weekend is going to have a lot of news. None of that has dropped yet. Maybe it'll drop during the live stream because it's technically on the other side of the ocean, everything that's happening. And how we all doing? It's a good one. Who do we got in the chat here today? We got Rudy Mack, YouTube member, Patrick Brown, YouTube member. We got James Hopkins. We got Ashton. We got Will Murphy, Joey, Prince of Phalanx 59, Patreon person. Who else we got? T-Formers 2002, Patreon and YouTube. We got Roman Schilling. What's up? Bigum is here. Want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Timmy K, Grant Brown, Horned Owl. If I miss anybody, just give me a yo. El Kevo, Talib is here. Other people coming in. Big Bot Bodega. What's up? So then, got a few things we're going to talk about. Some new stuff here and there. We have a cool little sachet of stuff that I was kind of inspired by from Aaron Archer's live stream that he did yesterday, talking about like collectible supplemental items of Transformers, and boy, do I got a lot of those. So let's check it all out. But first, let's get into some of the news. What's up, Twins Corner, Mail Fabrication? What's up? So let's start first with some listings that we had at the beginning of this week. And still don't know much about them. Hopefully we'll learn more about them in the near future. Specifically that NFL one. So, we heard about NFL doing a collaboration with Hasbro. They've had a pretty good relationship dating back I want to say 2013, 2014. It's been a while that those two have been collaborating on different items, and just from the Transformer nature, it even goes even more back with that when you go to the Kenner Hasbro days with starting lineup and everything. So they've always had a good relationship. And now they're going to be doing a Transformer NFL crossover that's different from the Megatron that we got. And all we have is these listings. They could be code for something. They could be something a little deeper, with the collaboration Sport Blue, Sport Black, Sport Red, and Sport Green. Some people were saying in the chat, and there was some good explanations, that these could just be primary colors of football Transformer players, and it might include a sticker sheet, and then you could pick, those adjacent kind of players to those colors. I could see that, but I mean, there's also, a lot of football teams are two-tone, so let's say the Jets, they're not the same kind of green as, say, the Green Bay Packers, which have a green and yellow. So even if you put a Jet sticker on the side, you're still missing the yellow for like a Green Bay Packer. I don't know. It's one suggestion. I get it. I see where they're coming at, because we've had stuff kind of like that in the past. Some people were suggesting something similar to the Party Wagon, the Party Wallop, where it's one item, but they have multiple pieces that can make it different characters. In this case, the different Ninja Turtles. In this case, the different football teams. It's a lot of football teams to cover, even with just 4 primary colors. So we'll see. We will see. But I am curious how they're going to go about it, because the rumor was that they were going to do every single football team, which is okay, that's a lot of repaints, but we will see. We will see. Then, of course, we have the Studio Series. We got a Leader Nemesis TF5, which would be the last night. I imagine taking the very recent one that we just got, the Age of Extinction Buff Prime, and giving it that, Nemesis color scheme, which is the reds on the faces, the purple eyes. Maybe they'll include 1 or 2 unique accessories just to break it up a little bit that were probably always on the sprue from the factory. The Leader Class 86 Astro Train, I just really hope that's a brand new tooling and just we don't see that siege mold again. I really, really hope it's just brand new. I fear that it's just going to be what the triple takeover dramatic collection version is, dramatic series collection from Japan, Takara Tomy. I worry it's just going to be like a localization of that, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's time for a new Astro Train tooling, even at the leader class, even if it's been done before. 86 Snarl, that's just great. Gives people an opportunity to pick up a mold that would have been difficult to get. Those Dinobots in the secondary market have been going up in value. So to have a re-release of that, all the better. Snell's World with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Snell's World. Have you heard of the Transformers G1 Triptychon Junior Takara? It's green and gray. Yes, I have. Those are the Transformers Junior line from Generation 1. They did a Rodimus convoy. They did Chrome Dome. They did Soundwave. I'm trying to remember some of the others because I have a few of them. They're pretty tough to come by in complete condition. And yeah, there was a Triptychon. There was a Metroflex, as he was called in Japan, Metroplex. And yeah, he had a weird kind of turquoise green and a dark black, a sticker sheet, a bunch of accessories. Those are pretty tough to come by. And they always came with little die-cast figurines, too, of smaller characters. I believe the Triptychon came with a Rodimus convoy, if I remember correctly, because I know the Rodimus was included in a few different packs. Some of them come with a badge. They're cool. Yeah, there was a Fortress Maximus that came in a 3-pack with Chrome Dome and an Optimus Prime. There was an Optimus Prime one also. That's a given. Some of those came in 2-packs that came with oversized PVC Sufobi figures like Galvatron, Rodimus, Optimus Prime. I know I'm forgetting somebody. But yeah, I've heard of them. They're pretty cool. They're again tough to come by. Something that usually you would find more at a BotCon back in the day from the Japanese sellers. And I mean, those prices they could go all over the place. I think I have an extra of the Chrome Dome Junior for sale. I don't remember. My inventory it's all over the place. Stuff comes and goes quickly. I think I have an extra of the Chrome Dome for sale, but they're cool. They're cool. I dig them. I dig them. Where were we? Where were we? So yeah, the Snarl, and thanks for the super chat, by the way, Snell's World. The Snarl again, great opportunity for people who haven't picked one up. It's kind, I looked at what happened with Grimlock and with Sludge, where like their secondary market just like skyrocketed at one point, and then Hasbro kind of like alleviated that through reissues or accompanying repaints or something. So it's good to see that they're preemptively making a strike. Because look, it's the Dinobots. Even if they aren't difficult to find, just putting them out there again, people are going to buy them. People are going to want them. And yeah, it's Snarl. It's probably the weakest of the bunch because of his limited capacity of appearance in the 86 movie. But at the end of the day, still a good thing. And then a Studio Series Leader Class 86 Soundwave. I'm again really hoping this is brand new tooling and just not a repaint of the Leader Class we got through Legacy United with the cassettes. I hope that what Evan said a while back, which was they really want to tackle Soundwave on their own because they want something that scales with Blaster properly. Again, if you put Blaster next to the Soundwave molds, Blaster towers over him, despite the fact that they're both Voyagers. So I'm pretty sure they could do something. And again, even that Soundwave that we got really was at the end of the day an extensive retool of a Siege toy that was never meant to turn into a boombox. So it's something that they could really make something from the ground up that could, look at what Masterpiece did. And let's hope. Let's hope. That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, look, I have we'll call it the Earthrise version. I was the Netflix 2-pack. I have the Masterpiece Soundwave. I have the Netflix one. It's not like I personally need a better Soundwave, but I'm just saying for fans that don't have those opportunities, I kind of would hope for something better. The Blaster has been put out like 3 different ways, and everyone's got the Blaster pretty much. But the Soundwave has been one of the more difficult ones. There was other opportunities, but they were Japanese exclusives or store exclusives or, just expensive stuff. So if there's a better opportunity to get him and it's the best version, hey, all the better. And then going into the MPG, the Masterpiece Gatai Greto Giant, MPG 16, Black Super Jinrai, aka Nucleon Quest Convoy. That was confirmed at the T Spark event, so that one is a given. MPG 17, supposedly either G1 Blaster or a Convoy 4.0. I don't think it's Convoy 4.0. I think it's a little too soon for that. I talked about the math of it. Like every 8 years, they do a new Optimus Prime tooling with Masterpiece. We're not at those 8 years yet. So I think that's a little too soon. The only explanation I could think of is if they want to do it is because, 2025 is technically the 40th anniversary of Transformers in Japan. And when we got MPO1, it was celebrating the 40th anniversary. Excuse me, the 20th anniversary. So I don't know. I can understand from an anniversary standpoint for Convoy 4.0, but I still think it's kind of soon. I hope it's jazz. Just take what they did with the studio series, give it some extra twists and turns and bells and whistles, and boom boxes or extra a hook arm weapon or something, and that'll be fine. And then the hauler, that one's a given. Road hauler. We already have a grapple masterpiece, so you just give it the road hauler colors, give them, extra welding accessory that gives them some Constructicon origins, or maybe a beat up, hound or something. Non-transformable beat up hound that he could haul up. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but yeah, that's something. Either way, so these are all listings. Again, take them with a grain of salt for now, but they do come from reputable sources, so we will see. We will see. And then we got to talk about the Transformers Authentics line. I know this isn't a big announcement, but it was our new item on Transformer Tuesday. Transformers Authentics Bravo class Elita 1. You know what? If this thing would have came out back in the day when we had Legend scale and everything, I'm sure people would dig it because that's what it is. It's a simplistic transforming Elita 1 for a demographic and market that doesn't have to look. This thing's $5. It's $4.99. It transforms into a very Yusha Brave kind of alt mode, which is kind of cool, I'll be honest with you. And it's simple. It is what it is. It's our new reveal from this week, along with a few other things. So I dig it. Not much really I could say. Again, $4.99, showing up in more of your Market 6 kind of locations, your Walgreens and, places that don't really normally are known for carrying Transformers and stuff. So check that out, yo. Then we got going from that to ridiculously expensive. Bearbrick has a license with Takara Tomy, and they've been doing some Bearbrick Transformer stuff for a while now. And if you look at the 7 centimeter one, the tiny one there, they did a whole line of them. They did G1 Optimus, Megatron, Bumblebee, movie Optimus. Now they're doing their 400% collection, which is they take bear bricks and they blow them up 400% and they ask near $300 for them. So they're doing a 400% convoy. It transforms. It's $287 after exchange, which is like, yeah, okay. Think about every masterpiece you could buy with that. Bearbrick's always been Bearbrick, in my opinion, it falls into that collector vinyl community where I feel those people that, and no offense to them, but they're getting ripped off. My wife collects Tokidoki, and that's part of that collector market community. And when I find out that they pay like sometimes upwards of $25 to $30 for a one mold piece, mild amount of paint, vinyl blind packed figurine, I'm like, wow, those companies are just ripping you off. And then you hand her a transformer that has 17,000 pieces and engineering and paint and stickers and weapons and tooling, and it's from multiple colors of sprues, and and it's $14.99, and it's like, wow, like they're getting ripped off, those guys. So this thing, I don't know. This thing probably has as many pieces as a rescue bot, but it's at 11, almost 12 inches, so it's about the size of a Barbie doll. Again, if you're into it, hey, more power to you. I have a few of those bear bricks, not the transformable ones, but during the 2007 movie, they did like a promotion with Coca-Cola, in Japan, and so I have a few of those Bearbricks, but I mean, those were like free with a, a soda pop, so I don't know. It is what it is, but crazy how expensive it is, though. And speaking of expensive, also the expensive Korean clothing company of Supreme is going to be doing a crossover with Transformers. This comes courtesy of Safety Korea, which is the safety division of Korea that has to document and take photos of upcoming product for safety of their market. And as a result, Safety Korea posted a little too early a upcoming product, which is a G1 Optimus Prime, preferably probably the reissue that we saw not too long ago, not the missing link, but just a vanilla reissue. So we have a G1 Optimus Prime sporting the Supreme color scheme. Sure, the yellows, the reds. It's not the first time G1 Optimus Prime has done crossovers with, luxury clothing brands. There was Bape Optimus that did multiple different versions across G1 and Masterpiece. And they did, like, geez, I want to say like 7 different colors of those. So if you're into Supreme and you like G1 Optimus, well, there's your peanut butter and your jelly together. We don't have a price yet. We don't have a release date. This is just something that showed up extremely early. This isn't the first time that Safety Korea has been responsible for us learning about product. Safety Korea is an actual website you can go visit where they document product that's going to be coming out and if it's going to be safe for kids or not, if it has choking hazards. And this one, popped up on the radar, so it's clearly something that the Korean clothing company is going to be doing a collaboration with sooner than you think. So stay tuned for that one when we get more info, but probably will be a pricey one, much like the Bape stuff, which was pricey. Then we got the Brickheads here. Let's go to something that's not so much pricey. These showed up just online through normal retailers leaking out stuff accidentally. So Transformers is going to be getting some Brickheads. This was a line that debuted back in 2016 as kind of Lego's answer to Funko Pop and giving people the Funko visual experience, but with something that's actually tactile, like building Lego and everything like that. So it's their version of Funko, but better. They're the same size as Funko Pops. They're just actually something you could build and assemble and have fun with. And considering that Funko is all about licensing and IPs, Brickheads is the same thing across Harry Potter, Transformers, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. I know I'm forgetting stuff. Disney brands. There's so many. I believe there's over like 250 of them. And number 260, 261, 262, and 263 are going to be Optimus Prime and Bumblebee in robot modes and Optimus Prime and Bumblebee in alt modes. I like the Bumblebee. I think the Bumblebee actually, I look at it and I go, you know what? If you have the Optimus Prime giant size icons Lego and you put this Bumblebee with it, I think this one works a little better. That new Bumblebee there that they have, that chunky one, I don't know. This one kind of works. The Bumblebee's cute. But again, these are affordable. They're $19.99. They're like $20. And you get you get both modes at the same time. So they're way more affordable. They're way more easily accessible. Again, this line was created to compete with Funko Pop, meaning it was created to compete with people who not normally engage in geeky product. So the assembly is not too difficult. It's not a lot of pieces. If I remember correctly, it's only like 250 pieces between the two of them, more or less. So they're very easy to do, and hey, they're kind of cool. What's up, Aaron? We're going to be doing a segment kind of related to something you talked about yesterday. Stay tuned for that. Mm. But yeah, so I dig them. I think they're cool. Again, they're affordable. And I will never rag on a product, no matter how bad or good it might be, if it's cheap. If it's like $5 in this world today, man, $5 doesn't even get you a coffee in some places. So if it could get you 2 little Funko sized, figurines that you could assemble yourself, put on your desk, I mean, there is so much more worse you could do in the world for $20, So I dig it. And then we have some Earthspark stuff. This was, according to JT Prime, he said this is going to be the very last wave of them. And of the case of 5, 2 of them have surfaced through in-demand toys. And supposedly these 2, along with all the rest, will be at the Nuremberg Toy Fair this weekend. at the Hasbro booth on the Earthspark side, and it's that of the Transformers Earthspark Season 2 Terran hashtag and the Transformers Earthspark Soundwave. Now, the hashtag, like I covered in the individual segment, is a brand new tooling from the ground up. It's not the one that we got before from America. It's not the Japanese retool. This is something that's completely new. So pretty cool. We got a gold super chat from Shockwave75. Thank you for the gold super chat, Shockwave75. I just got the third party Suyang Culture SY03 Getsue and Yaku. Oh, I love those. The train bots, both of those. I'm still waiting for my Yukikaze. Um, they're about as the size of deluxes and really cool and are affordable. About 84 Canadian. Oh, that's awesome. I'm trying to get the masterpiece ones, but especially the Diaclone ones. I dig those colors. That's awesome. I mean, hey, look, you know what? I know Hasbro has a weird relationship with trains. Me and Aaron have talked about it on the Toy Armada segment. That was the panel. Go check out the TFCon panel one if you want to hear us talk about trains for a brief moment. But I mean, hey, if there's any way to get Transformer trains, there's no better way than through a Raiden 6-pack, even third party or not. So thank you for the super chat, Shockwave75. But going back to Soundwave, Soundwave looks really good. Again, warning to people, it looks like his legs are mistransformed to just fit in the box because he has a very kind of I guess wide leg stance when it's in robot mode. So it looks like both of his knees are pointing inward. And if you look at his animation model, it looks exactly like that. I think he looks great. I hope he comes at least with one cassette. That'd be really cool just to top it off. Because I mean, he was someone I was worried because he's a pretty cool design in the show. And the only figure he had, and I actually have it right here. I bought it on clearance and I still have yet to open it. I bought it for $5 Canadian. So the one step throw flip changer, still like you know what's the coolest thing about it? It comes with blue strings that hold it down. So at least little props to Hasbro's packaging department for color coordinating the strings that hold down the stuff. But for the longest time, that was the best, Soundwave. I mean, that's the problem with Earthspark is some of like the characters. It's like, hey, you like RC? The best one's a Tacticon 2-inch little nothing flip changer thingy, so at least hashtag has a decent figure here. Soundwave's going to get a decent figure. And according to the bottom here, if you look at the bottom here, the case assortment will also have a deluxe class Terran Spitfire, which will probably be a repaint of the Twitch. A Cyberglow Megatron, have no idea what that is. It might be brand new tooling. It might be a repaint of the deluxe Megatron we have. And while this one's a little out of scale, we're also going to be getting a Cosmos. That one, I don't know. They should have done that in like the ultimate price point or something. Make it a little gimmicky, lights and sounds, just like just like Weird Al who voices him. But still cool to get him in any shape or form, even if he will be a little out of size, if anything. He's such a chunky, wide character. But again, that line's done. Earthspark is on its way out, and that'll be that. But there was a few cool designs and characters that came out of it, but the show in general, I felt kind of fell flat in a lot of ways. And last but not least, we got some Megacon. So the Megacon is happening next week, which is in Orlando, and there's going to be a Hasbro panel on the Friday, and at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will be getting our reveal essentially for what our next Haslab Transformer item will be, as well as some other products. And then afterwards, one of the Hasbro panelists that are going to be there, Emily, she posted on her Instagram that she's excited about being on the panel. And the little thing that she mentioned here is, and it's at the bottom, she wrote, I'm watching a lot of G1 cartoons with subtitles to prepare for the event. So that's suggesting that probably the Haslab item is going to be something of G1 Japanese nature. I'm thinking Diatlas. That's probably, from a timing perspective, the one that would make sense. Diatlas has the Zodiac. We have a Titan class Star Convoy with the Zodiac. It just kind of makes sense. I mean, yeah, some people are saying Lio Kaiser. Some people are like, Lyle Kaiser would be a good companion piece with the Dino King we got. I could see that. And I wouldn't have a problem with Lyle Kaiser or Road Caesar or some of the other ones. But I think that when you think about what Haslabs are really right now, I almost feel like Lyle Kaiser is almost too complicated. Like you'd probably want 6 really good jets, and they're probably not jets. Some of them are also, tanks and dune buggies, but you would want something that's like 6 really good figures. And I think that's almost too much work for them for Haslab. As much as I liked Haslab when they were in those $500 item range, but I think honestly, if we got like a Lio Kaiser, I don't think it's going to be 200 bucks. I really don't. I really don't. I think like a Lio Kaiser would probably be like 400, 350. And you know how some people are not going to like that. And then you're going to have a Lio Kaiser that's stuck behind a Hasbro pulse wall instead of it being a retail product. So just my feelings on that one. Prince of Phalanx 59, do you think Hasbro will ever stop making Transformers and license it out instead? I don't think so, primarily because, and I mean, hot take here, Transformers isn't 100% making the Transformers to begin with. And we have someone who's in the chat here today that could vouch for that, and that's Mr. Aaron Archer. It's a partnership with Takara Tomy. So to say that like they'd license it out, I mean, you're trying to tell me that they're gonna just like turn to Takara and go, "Hey, we're gonna give it to Playmates, and Playmates is gonna do it"? No, Playmates isn't gonna do the engineering and the design and all that stuff. They have such a great relationship with Takara that I doubt that'll ever happen. I really doubt that. They'll license out Transformers for everything else: PVC figures, statues, T-shirts, all those other things. But the core brand itself, it's too complicated. It's one thing for like other companies that are doing action figures that are, it's action figures, 5 points of articulation, 12 points or 13 points of articulation. It's easier for other companies to kind of pick those up, like for Playmates to get the Power Ranger license. It's like, yeah, kind of a different story. No offense to the Zords or the Mecha of Power Rangers, but they're not exactly super complex transformations either. Like, I mean, anyone who's ever messed with any Megazords, and I've bought and sold tons of them, they're on the level of a Rescue Bot's transformation. And that's not an insult, that's just a reality of those designs. So it's a lot easier for a Playmates to do those kinds of transformations and designs. But you know, we'll see. We'll see, but I really doubt it. That brand has too much of a partnership with Hasbro and Takara for that to happen. I could see them licensing out GI Joe to Playmates. I could see them licensing out a whole bunch of other brands that are action figure in origin. Look, they licensed out Gem and the Holograms, a doll brand, to Loyal Subject. They licensed out My Little Pony to, was it Clever Forever at one point, you know? So it's something where the way I see it is those ones, because they're simple. My Little Pony's a simpler thing. Dolls are much simpler, but the complex engineering and transformations of Transformers, you know? And Aaron just said it here. It's a perpetual partnership and the roles are spelled out. Exactly. You know, I can't imagine them turning the Playmates and going, "Hey, yo, you're going to be doing all this engineering and craziness across multiple characters." Think about like the first season of a show and how it's got to have minimum 5 Autobots and 5 Decepticons. And they're going to do all that engineering and tooling on a high level that's going to be satisfactory. And they're willing to give that to another company and run the risk of damaging their brand, their best-selling boy toys brand, because they're literally surviving off of Magic the Gathering, you know? So I don't think so. I think like they'll take a risk with Joe and give it to somebody. They'll take a risk with a My Little Pony and give it to somebody. Same thing with Gem and the Holograms. That brand's been sitting around forever. Look, we're doing something with Rom the Space Knight now, finally, after all these years. But I can't see them doing it with Transformers. It's too important. It's too powerful. There's too many other family members involved in its creation that also will have their say and take in that partnership. I can't see that. I can't. But thank you, Prince of Phalanx, for the question. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, hey, I think it's going to be Diatlas, but I mean, I could be wrong. Look, I don't want it to be Diatlas. I just think it makes sense for it to be Diatlas. I still think I still want Primus. I'll be honest with you. I still want a $400 Primus figure. Give me that. Figure out a way to give me a $400 Primus. They won't because they're scared to do that, but that's what I would like. But we will see. Um, James Hobson, hey Proto, are there ever going to do a remold repaint on Legacy Override? I would like that. Where's the Black Nitro Convoy Override GTS repaint? I'm surprised they didn't do that. But to be fair, that mold sold quite terribly. How many of those do I got? Goodness. Actually, hold on. Just turning my head here. 1 second. Let me turn off the slide. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of people sent me them because I love Nitro Convoy from Galaxy Force, so I doubled down on that mold quite a bit. Um, Gosh, I think it was going for like $15 at one point, or even 10. So I don't know. It didn't do very well. So to repaint it to a much like if it didn't do well in its most famous color scheme, how well would it do in its least famous color schemes? So it's a tough one. Tough one. And last but not least, just a reminder of the booth that we're going to be seeing this weekend, the Cyberworld booth. That probably even during this live stream, maybe even overnight, we're going to get some Earthspark reveals, some Age of the Primes reveals, and of course everything that's going on with Transformers Cyberworld going into 2025. And I'm very curious to see what they do because I mean, anyone that's been watching Transformers One, the new adventures, yeah, that's not what we were hoping for. Those are gag stuff. Just ignore that. Aaron says here, Car Robots was in the Japanese and English dubs are kind of hard to get. Maybe she watched RID. Oh, well, no, she said she was watching G1, so that's what kind of like makes me hyper focus on it as opposed to it being the RID Megatron or anything outside of that. She said G1, and she's not like so savvy to be like, well, Car Robots is technically part of the G1 universe. No, she's new to the brand, so she knows she was probably given some Shout Factory subtitled DVD box sets of the G1 Takara 3 that they did, and whatever she was asked to watch, she was asked to watch. Mm. Grant Brown, Proto, do you think Lego will make any Soundwave cassettes work? Would Soundwave headblocks Brickhead's boombox? I think that all of the Legendary 7 will get at some point probably the Brickhead's treatment. Add to that like a Jazz, maybe an RC or an Alita now because of the movie appearance. Um, the second tier guys like the Shockwaves and stuff. So I'm sure they'll all get the treatment. I mean, I people know Hot Rod's my favorite character, but he doesn't even come close into the first and second years of releases. You know, so we will see. We will see. And again, with this Cyber World thing, we will see. So hopefully we'll have more info. You might get a Sunday segment out of me if some big stuff drops, but we'll stay tuned for that and find out what's happening from the Nuremberg Toy Fair. So hopefully we'll learn more. I'm very curious because this is, to me, and I've said this before, the media is so important to Transformers and it's what carries it forward. Because let's be real, the renaissance of stuff that happened to Transformers back in Beast Wars' era was because the media was so powerful. Oh my God, this cutting edge CG technology that was really reserved at the time for only one or two shows, whatever's called Battle Bugs and a Reboot. You know, only two other shows in all of history up to that point had CG. And I'm not counting movies like going all the way back to Toy Story. But so that was like a big deal for Beast Wars, and that was like a big hook for it and why it made it so popular. And then the toys sold well because the toys came out before the show did, and it did okay, but that was its hook. And then of course you look at the bigger renaissance in 2007. Those Michael Bay movies. If you don't have those Michael Bay movies, tell me how those toys sell well. You need really good fiction to kind of carry that. And Earthspark didn't do that. I liked Cyberverse, but apparently a lot of people didn't tune in for it because it was mostly online, uh, on the web through apps. Like it was on the Cartoon Network app, which was like, oof, that's not a good place to put it. And then after that, it ended up on Cartoon Network, and then on top of Cartoon Network, it was on YTV in Canada, and then it finally started showing up on TV proper, and then they just dumped it all on the Transformer Hasbro YouTube channels. So it had this weird distribution method that the show didn't do well. Not to mention it had a 10-minute segmentation, like of how it was being done, which I feel is not the best way to tell a story. You have to have those full 20-minute episodes. But I mean, I liked Cyberverse, but the way it was presented was not palatable. You could have a really good steak, but if you just cover it with ketchup or you cut it up in a weird way and you feed it to people, like you cut it in a star and you give it to them like that, it's like, what's going on? So sometimes you could have a really good foundation, but the way you present it, if it's not done properly, people won't want to engage. And if you make it tough, if you make it tough for people to watch it, there is tons and tons and tons of shows that their biggest reason for their failures was the time slot that they were put in, and that's very important. And granted, now time slots aren't really a thing anymore with TV shows, but now it's about accessibility. So they need to do a Transformer show that isn't on one streaming service. You can't say, "Oh, we're going to be only on Paramount Plus." Don't do that. There's a lot of people that won't. I have all of those streaming services at my fingertips due to dubious ways. That's all I'm going to say. So it's not like, oh, I'm saying that because I'm going to be locked out. No, I'm going to be able to watch any of it. I don't care. But I care about other people who maybe they live somewhere that doesn't have proper internet and they don't have access to that, or maybe they can't watch it, or maybe they live across the globe and they don't have Paramount Plus, or they, oh, then you get a VPN, bro. You want to make it that the cartoon is the commercial for your product and it's a damn good commercial, and then that way people like what they see and then they leave their house or they go on Amazon and buy your product. That's what it needs to do. Stop with the trying to put it in all these different services because you're trying to prop up the services and make all these partnerships. It never works out. It never works out when you do that. So hopefully they figure this out. From what we heard with Cyberworld, it's going to be on YouTube. Hopefully I just hope there'll be 21-minute episodes. Put 3 or 4 commercials. I don't care. Advertise the product. Hell, make your own commercials. Put commercials in the commercials. In the middle of Cyberverse, be sure to take a commercial break and advertise your toys in it. Because I know that the Ultraman channel, they do that all the time. The Ultraman channel on YouTube has commercials for not SH, is it SH Figure Arts of Ultraman and figurines and stuff like that. They're advertising Ultraman events and everything while you're watching the latest Ultraman episodes. And that works. It works. And that audience is savvy to just, hey, I come home, I could watch it at my own time. It's on YouTube, so it's accessible to everybody. They could put commercials on their own channel so they could monetize it. So they're still making money from the whole creation of it. I think it's fine. It works. That's what they should do. And hopefully they do it. Hopefully they do it. Where are we at here? If I miss any questions, guys, just, if you're YouTube members, just repeat them. Super chats, hopefully I didn't miss any. But yeah, so we're going to cover just quickly our sponsorship stuff. And then we're going to get into a cool little bunch of crap that I dug up, kind of inspired by Aaron's live stream yesterday of something that he mentioned just quickly. And I was like, ooh, I think people will dig this. So first, let's get into sponsorship. Of course, Symbiote Studios, rocking their old Soundwave shirt back in the day with the double eye non-visor. But they got the other great shirts. Go pick up, of course, the Catnip Bravo one, the Grimlock, all the plushes and everything. There's going to be a new distribution of plushes coming into 2025, some San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, a whole bunch of great stuff. So stay tuned on Symbiote Studios and go pick yourself up a plush before they sell out. Help support the podcast too. Of course, they got all their other stuff, the video game related ones and Power Rangers of what they got left. And they're bumping My Little Pony collection that seems to be making money hand over fist. I love it that we did a live stream last week and 3 different people bought the My Little Pony stuff just because of the live stream. So hey, there's pony fans out there. So check it out. Fun fact, I worked on the My Little Pony Transformer crossover figure. I only did the copy for the packaging and stuff. And then they sent me one in the mail. So, and mine is kind of weird because it has different markings on it. But anyways, so check it out, yo. And of course, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Last week we posted a brand new segment deep diving into High Wire and Energon Kicker, along with the Quintesson, Alpha Quintesson. And we talk about the history of the creation of those two characters and how important those two characters are to kind of the design independence of Hasbro going into the Michael Bay movies and stuff. These are two toys that are a lot more important than you think in the grander scheme of things. And if you want to learn that history, see some behind the scenes photos and design photos, go check that out on the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. As always, if you're subscribed to this channel, go subscribe there too and give it a check out. And then, of course, Aaron's latest book. We're, what are we now, like a month and a couple of weeks away from TFCon Los Angeles, LA. I'll be there with Aaron. We'll be rocking out there, and Aaron will have his latest book, The Art of Transforming Robots, Volume 3. Pick that up in person if you like. Get a nice signature in there. Get a nice little sketch if you want. Get some, Posca paintings and prints and everything like them. But if you can't get to TFCon LA, check it out on archermonster.com/shop. Shop, shop, shop. And of course, some new Posca paintings. I did this slide. No, real talk. I did this slide today, and then I had to change it because there was a hot rod one that was on there and it sold out. I didn't buy it. Don't think it was me. The hot rod one got sold. And I think another one got sold, so I had to change the slide. But there is some left. Go check out archermonster.com/shop for some of these. Again, whatever isn't sold by the time LA rolls around, it's going to be brought to LA and it's going to be bought. What was the one there? Land Bullets. That's his Japanese name. What's his American name? But Land Bullet from Galaxy Force. Gosh, what was his name, guys? I always know the Japanese names because that's how I watched it. What was Land Bullet's name in English? It's gonna bother me now. It's in the back of my brain. But he had like Land Bullet for like forever, and then he brought it to TFCon Baltimore, and was it Baltimore? Was it Baltimore or Florida? And someone like bought it right away. So even the ones that linger on the website, they get bought up in person because people just see how awesome these are in person. They're a lot bigger than they look here on this tiny screen. They're huge. Unfolded instructions, fully painted, based on the characters from those 20 plus to 30 plus years old instruction sheets. Own a piece of history, frame it, put it on your wall. Get the ladies. Bring the lady back to your room. She'll look at your bed and she'll be like, not interested. And then she'll see the Posca painting and she'll be like, oh, we're talking a real brother right here. So great stuff. And if you got a little more cash, you also have the museum level paintings. Aaron sold, I believe, the Cybertron one at his booth at Baltimore. Go check those out too if you got a little extra cash. These are huge, matted, beautiful, gorgeous paintings. I don't have the scale on them. I know like the Megatron is like thin and tall. The Unicron was next to me during Baltimore. That one's also massive. Those are great too. I got a hot rod one hanging here in the Proto Cave, which can't see it. It's all the way back there, but pretty cool stuff. So check those out again. archermonster.com/shop for all of those if you haven't. And if not, wait for TFCon LA and pick it up in person. Save yourself on shipping, I guess. And last but not least, let's talk about Bin Studios. Again, they're doing their upgrade kits for Haslab Unicron. We're going to be doing these for the next couple of weeks, promoting these because they pretty much perfected the rings and the wings. You could pick if you want to do a wing set. You could pick if you want to do a ring set and decide which version that you want to have fit. Crumple Zone. Thank you, DW. Crumple Zone. That's right. Jeez, it's bothering me. I was like, Crumple Zone, Crumple Zone. But yeah, he had Crumple Zone, and that was sitting forever, and then finally someone bought it, like right away, like at the show. So Bin Studios, go to binstudios.iwarp.com. Pick up your upgrade set, make your one Unicron into two, and save yourself thousands of dollars if you want to have both on display. I have one, and I love it. And that's it more or less for the news. So we'll jump into some super chats while we also show some cool stuff. So Aaron yesterday on his live stream, good live stream, he was showing off some of the stuff that inspired him as an artist. At one point, someone asked a question about licensed stuff and like little licensed products and everything and all. He was talking about how he knew it that Transformers was successful when there was a cake mold of Optimus's head and everything. And he mentioned something like along the lines of those guys that collect like everything, like all those little weird stuff too. Those guys are crazy. He said something along those lines, and I was like, "You're looking at him, brother." So I literally, up until about Revenge of the Fallen, I bought anything that had Transformers on it. I bought anything, no joke. And that might sound crazy today, but back then it was a lot more feasible. I mean, even during the peaks of Beast Wars, when Beast Wars was huge, you could buy every Beast Wars product, and then the paraphernalia on the side was what? Two puzzles, a video game, another video game. What else? Like there was nothing, you know? And then when you go into Beast Machines, there was nothing really. There was no like side stuff really, maybe a greeting card, you know? Uh Armada had a flashlight, little Optimus keychain flashlight, some trading cards. Trying to think of what else it had in the West. Energon had like wrapping paper, no joke. I even have the Energon wrapping paper. They had the here, I'll bust this out. Even though it has a Armada Optimus Prime on it, but this came out during Energon. That's why it has the Energon kind of like blue packaging to it. The gumball machines with the gumballs still there from 20 years ago. Like they did like little paraphernalia here and there, but it was pretty easy. It was pretty easy back then to buy everything because there wasn't a lot of it out there. Literally, there wasn't a lot of it. Enter the Michael Bay movies. Um, And so here's Proto Man who still buys everything, every little thing, every little board game, every little this. Armada had a board game, by the way, great board game. Armada has a board game, like that was easy to do. You enter 2007, and then all of a sudden, there was just everything, every feasible thing you could think of. Like Brandon said, there a beach towel, like there was a. But let's get into the crazy. Let's get into the crazy. So I took select items here. How about Transformers vitamins? Still in there. These are from 2008. Transformers, the movie Vitamins. Probably would kill you now. Oh, we got a super chat here. Patrick Brown, my wife's water just broke. Why are you saying this during the stream? Go help her. During the stream, Proto, must be good luck. Heading to the hospital now for baby number 3. Wish me luck, folks. I'm going to have to catch the rest of the stream on replay. Oh my God, congratulations. Oh, go help the woman. Go help the woman, brother. Must be good luck. Hearing my voice creates ovulation, apparently. I don't know. Or contractions. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean. Um, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. God, it just threw me off my game now. Oh my goodness. That's great stuff. Congratulations, my man. Um, positive vibe. So yeah, so like you're gonna see a lot of wacky food stuff. And here's how deep this rabbit hole gets before we start. One of the very first things that popped up. So Transformers 2007 movie is being promoted. It's going to be coming out soon, and all like the food goods and stuff is coming out. And one of the very first things, and it's so like nothing, was a milk carton. So this is Transformers 2007 movie chocolate milk 1%. And it's like, text Megatron on your flip phone to join a contest. There's nothing special about it. It just has an Autobot logo and a little contest. Nothing else. But it was like, you have to understand, to me, this was a drought because for years we never had like Transformers drinks or anything like that. So we had like all kinds of wacky stuff. So there you go. There's the seal test Transformers 2007 milk carton. Very wacky. Okay, we did the the kid is a fan. Then we get into, let's see, let's pull up This is from working at Burger King. These were the choose your side cups, which I still have them. They're not ripped off. I worked at Burger King, so I knew that these were all rigged anyways. Hey, spoiler guys, all those rip cup thingies, you can only win free food at best. You'll never win the big prizes. Those are actually purposely given to people within the company. Wink, wink. They don't need to know that. There's a whole documentary about it. It's true. Anyways, moldy. Actually, I washed it out though. I washed out the milk thing there. So these were just 2 cups, and then also here was the fry cup. Pick your side, Autobot, Decepticon. They did something similar when we had the Star Wars promotion. It was Jedi or Sith for Episode 3 back in the day. You know, so we had that food promo. Let's get into. So then you had, let's see. Oh, these ones here are. So you had the Revenge of the Fallen freezer pops, and you got a free tattoo with this one. I believe I have some extras of these tattoos that I bring to TFCon Toronto. So if you're interested in getting those tattoos, I might have them on me when I do some of the shows. But so this is the freezer pops. And what's crazy is they're still in there. So you have, let's go with Ratchet. So what's cool about these, and this is kind of clever. So it's a character and it'll be Ratchet, and then it'll have like 3 separate ones, and you could like rip them, right? So, and they always have colors that match the character. So you can, and look, look at this. This is turned into goo at this point. The sugar has separated. So you got Ratchet, you got Megatron, you know, the barricade one was my favorite. Where's the barricade? Is barricade in here? Or did I eat all the barricade? Anyways, here's the Optimus. Barricade was the white and purple one, which is like the watermelon and grape, my favorite flavors. So there was that. Obviously, I took out all the how much was this? It was $1.50 back in the day. Back in the day, yo. Back in the day. So there's that. Got a lot of stuff here. These ones, these started to go bad. These are the bubble tape. So you got Optimus, you got Bumblebee, and the bubble tape is still in there. You got Megatron, and you got Ratchet. Actually, could I open this? I think I could open this. The bubble tape is still in there. It has gone bad. It has turned terrible. I would not eat that. No. Oh my God, it smells terrible too. What is this? Blueberry flavor. So there's those. We also have the advertising form for Burger King for the toys. Imagine the month before we were advertising the Rise of Silver Surfer. So, which actually was a pretty good movie. I actually like that movie from Fantastic Four. And so we had the Stacticon sandwich. That was a real thing. That was a real thing. We have Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Valentine's Day chocolates with the chocolates still in there. So yeah, Valentine, You're Electric. And I think they have the other one too. There's 2 different ones. So you have Valentine, You're Electric, and then you got this one here with Bumblebee. Be Mine Valentine. Yeah, and they still have the chocolate in them from 15 years ago. 15 years ago. We got an Allspark cube with candies in it. Little candies, it's just a little toy Allspark cube that like you could make like characters and stuff. Very cute. That one also. Now it's penicillin flavored. Oh, don't you know it? Then we got we got candy canes from the holiday season. This is also Revenge of the Fallen, still sealed. It's got some stuff on the back there. Christmas stuff. All of this food has gone bad. The food's gone bad, people. The food has gone bad. And then let's get into a big crossover with all of this, which was Eminem. So Eminem did a big crossover with Transformers. So this is like the fan. Does it still work? Oh, batteries are dead. So you had like the Eminem little candies, and they were cosplaying as the Transformers. So you had red here with a little fan, and then obviously the candies were in here. You got yellow. I guess he's supposed to be. He should have been Bumblebee. This looks like he's Ratchet, but it looks like he's Megatron. Got Megatron there. And then they did some individual standee figures too, which again, the candy was the inside there. And see, here's red actually as Bumblebee. That's gonna be yellow as Bumblebee. Those are really cool. And then we have this one's still sealed. They had tins that would also hold the candies in them. Wacky stuff. And last but not least, every single variant of the M&M's packaging, because I'm a psychopath. So all of them with all their versions of the characters. Here, you want the ever beloved Skids and Mudflap? This was peanut butter and jelly flavor. And then you get there's Ratchet. Is that Ratchet? Yeah, it's Ratchet. Is that Barricade? Oh, it's Barricade. Barricade. Got so many of those. You got the big packaging. I bought it all, not knowing how crazy this would be and how this was just the tip of the iceberg. We had these are 7-Eleven straws of the characters. All the characters from 7-Eleven on straws for the Slurpees. They got like the Fallen and all of those. I could go on and on. There is so much here. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Just to show you guys just like so needless to say, around the time of Revenge of the Fallen, I went, okay, I think I'm gonna hold back a little bit, you know? Where are we at here? Grant Brown, oh God, Proto, please remove all the food before you pass away and your descendants and your grandkids eat it. No, you know what? My rule is by the time I'm around like 70, 75, my father doesn't believe I'll do this because I always told him he should do it. By the time I'm 70, 75, I honestly am going to sell most of my collection and then just give that money to my kids. Like I feel at that point I've enjoyed it. I've done all I can with it. Most people that I'll know will probably not even be with us anymore. And I'll keep like, select things here and there. Obviously, if my kids want to keep certain things too, they're more than welcome to. But I'll honestly sell most of it and just enjoy life and enjoy the whatever there is. And obviously the sealed, even this sealed stuff, some weirdo's gonna want it, because I know in the cereal collecting community, sealed boxes of pop culture cereal and stuff is always popular. So like this stuff is like going on 20 years old now, a lot of it, which is wild when you think about it. So um Aaron, what did you say here? 10% tariff on Chinese goods starting tomorrow officially will hit the fandom for about 2 months or less. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, in all honesty, I feel like a lot of those tariffs and everything, it probably, won't affect us too much because what I think will probably happen, and it's a catch 20. It might happen, it might not happen. Either companies are going to, because if the tariff raises the price to the point that people don't want to engage anymore, then they're going to have to pull a Nintendo and take a loss for the sake. Look, these companies got to stop expecting profits that, Hasbro as a company, it's wild. I've had stock with Hasbro since 2004. Yeah, was it 4 or 5? I got my first stocks, and I used to monitor their stocks all the time. And the one thing that blows my mind is Hasbro is like 8 times more of the company than it was in 2004, like by a landslide, and making more money than they ever were than in 2004. And the fact that they don't even like they don't even want to even loosen the belt even a little bit, take a little bit of a loss for the betterment of the future is wild. And I just hope that, people are smart with their money, That's the one thing I always ask people, and this is something we always preach here on the podcast. I'm a big finance money person. I was very lucky to be in an environment, specifically in high school. Again, shout out to my teacher, Mr. Jacobson, who taught a taxation class. No joke. This is Canada for you, I guess. Um, you're welcome. Um, and I always try to preach like, being smart with your money and always putting it in the right places and finding the right time when to strike when it comes to purchases and everything. And that's why I always celebrate when we get opportunities to buy product. I always tell people don't waste your money on the secondary market when a Transformer toy jacks up in value like crazy, you know, don't fall for that. The opportunity will there is honestly, I have lived in an era where I saw like classics toys were MSRP 19.99 and then they become $150 items and then something comes around that just makes everyone go, "Ew, I don't want it anymore." And now it's back to being a 19.99 item. I saw white Ultra Magnuses from classics being used for city commanders going for insane money. I saw original classics hot rods. Well, it was called Rodimus back then, being used for the protector armors through third party stuff, making it jack up in value and going for like $90 a piece. It was ridiculous what I was seeing, and now all those figures now are sitting loose, complete on a table at TFCon for $5 to $10. And that's the thing. It's like it goes like this. And whenever you see a figure that goes crazy, just wait. Just wait. Don't let the FOMO kick in. Don't go, "Oh my God, Cosmos! We're never going to be able to get the Cosmos. I'm going to go buy Cosmos off of eBay for $150 for a deluxe class because you're never going to be able to buy a Cosmos ever. It's never going to happen. Hasbro's never going to make a Cosmos ever again." Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. So wait it out. Be smart with your money. If Transformer toys are too expensive, don't buy them. Don't spend money you don't have. You know, don't spend money you don't have. Don't buy it. Send a message to them like, "Hey, this product's too expensive. I can't afford it." Don't go bankrupt over it. Look, there's tons of new product that comes out. I don't buy it all. I wait. I wait for sales. I wait for opportunities. If it's especially today, buying four deluxes, in Canada, gosh, and deluxes are almost $40 a piece, if not more with tax. You're talking like, you know, gosh, that's like a full tank of gas. Actually, no, that's still not comparable for you guys because gas is expensive in Canada. But the point is like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And yeah, the reissues have already sold out, but look at alternatives. There's other sources, there's other partner websites that also have them, and again, they're also meant to show up in retail too. So look for those opportunities when they do show up in retail also. Everything goes down sooner or later. Everything goes down. Everything. Everything. I'm looking at like when I even look at like just let's look at to pick on Aaron for a second who's in the chat. Let's look at Aaron's era right when he kind of left around the time of Thrilling 30 and going into 2014 and 15. I can't see a single figure that came from that era that's like doubled in value since then. Like they went up and down and up and down, on that road to it, but then there's stuff that's come around that defeated the purpose of that. I'm looking at like the Rhinox, like the Rhinox figure, like at one point, like Thrilling 30 Rhinox was going for like $80. And then like they did the Kingdom one, and some people are like, "Oh, I could just get the Kingdom one." And then they did the Masterpiece, and people went, "Why am I going to be paying $90 to $100 for, Thrilling 30 Rhinox when for a little bit more I could own the Masterpiece?" It was wild. It was wild what was going on and what people were paying. Which Thrilling 30s go for a lot? Tell me. With the exception of maybe like Whirl, Roadbuster, which one day they might do better ones. Um, but there isn't a lot. I go to TFCon, I look at those, I call them the loose tables. You go to those tables that just have nothing but loose figures in Ziploc bags, 100% complete. And people are just like, you're talking Voyagers for $20 Canadian, Deluxes for 10. and everything else is $5. The odd leader class might be 20, 30, $40. They're just trying to get their money back. It is insane how much of that is there. And let's not even talk about TFCon's charity auction and how much stuff is donated there. Ooh, I am 100% responsible for the TFCon charity auction. I see every single item that passes through there. It is wild how much stuff goes through there that's just like people just don't even care anymore. Oh, I don't want this, I don't want that, you know? So always wait it out, always wait it out. There's not a figure on the planet that if you don't get it now, you'll never get another chance later. It doesn't exist. And this is coming from a guy who has like stuff like, Minerva chilling back there and, some of the Japanese Takara stuff. You could go on Yahoo Japan auctions and eBay right now, and all of those guys are there. Are they expensive? Of course they are, but they're there. It's not something where if I don't get it now, I'm never going to get a chance to get it again. And with the way the value of prices work, Minerva's not a $2,000 item anymore. She used to be when there was only one Minerva figure, but now they're always making better Minerva figures. And now people are going, maybe I don't need to own a $2,000 Nightbeat repaint. Maybe I could just own this, Walgreens exclusive $24.99 deluxe and I'll be satisfied. Or if a third party company makes a bootleg, you know? Tom Laney, with the Earthspark figures, I would like to see Evan and the team tackle a couple of the characters. I think that much like Rescue Bots, and even to a smaller extent, Cyberverse, you give it a little time and then they'll probably do it. It would be silly right now to do Earthspark stuff in the classics-esque, generations-esque line. But that, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when Earthspark isn't a show anymore, they'll find a spot. Hey, we're gonna do what's it? Skywarp and Nova Storm. We'll do them proper, which would be great because I love those two. Certain characters could fit in there. Do a proper Starscream in the process too, instead of those weird repaints. Transformatics, I want some mainline Omnibots. Well, that's a trademark thing. So, Havoc to Emo 10 years ago, deluxes were $15. Like 2 months, they gone up to 20. Yeah, well, I have on my computer, I have a chart that keeps track of the MSRP of Transformers throughout the years. And it's quite coincidental, and I'm not throwing shade, but it's quite coincidental that they didn't raise the deluxe MSRP and everything else until the success of the first Michael Bay movie. That first movie did well, and then going into 2008 and 2009, all the MSRP went up. Supply and demand. I know why they did it. Because like, oh, Transformers is popular now. Why don't we ask a little more? You know? And then it just kept every year going up a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Now it's going to go up more. They just announced, what was it? I think it was Funko Pop announced that they were going to be increasing the prices of all their products and stuff because of distribution and, sorry, the cat's coming down. That's why. Distribution and plastic issues, because stuff is now becoming more expensive. So the way I see it, like, what is she doing? Always up to no good, that cat. We have a black cat now too, who's always a troublemaker. Klepto cat. Horned Owl, do you remember what TF's first item you passed on after you decided getting everything was too much? I honestly, it was the Voyager price point. Around the time of Revenge of the Fallen, I started going, you know what? Voyager price point, leader class price point, and above, I'm going to wait on those. Deluxes, and again, that's when the prices started to go up. Deluxes, I'll still mess with deluxes. If I could get it here and there, the Cyberverse price point, what they call deluxes, going into Dark of the Moon, the Legend scale, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I could still mess with those. Those are still affordable. So I got like that, but I started avoiding the upper price points. And if I remember correctly, I think it was the repaint of Ratchet in Revenge of the Fallen, where I was just like, I don't need to buy this. Like, why am I buying a darker colored Ratchet? And I already have another Ratchet. And I got it like years later. The new cat's here. Let's see if she comes. Let's see if she comes to say hello. You see her in the reflection? I can barely see her in the reflection. I don't want to mess with the camera. Tiny. Hold on. There she is. Yo, yo! There we go. She's a little more skittish. Um, but yeah, like that was kind of like that was probably the first one that I said, you know what? And then of course, the one where I was like, oh my god, I remember Walmart had like a wall of that Devastator from Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah, it's a kitten. It's a brand new kitten. We rescued her. Someone they don't like black cats. Like if you go to like rescue like kill shelter kennels, like black cats are like a dime a dozen. So people don't like black cats, so we always rescue a black cat. So, and she was the oldest of the kittens because people always want little kittens. So, rescue. She's a little skittish, but she'll be fine. Growing up, I had like almost at some point, I always had minimum 3 to 4 cats, and over my lifetime, I probably had like 15, and then multiple dogs, animals. I lived in a zoo. Imagine, but yeah. But anyways, so getting back to what I was saying, so it's something where you know I I remember looking at that Devastator from Revenge of the Fallen and going like, I want it. It's super cool, but I don't want to pay that price. And if I remember correctly, that was at the supreme price point. So you're talking like almost $100, if not more. And I was just one of these guys that I was just like, I'm going to wait. And they had a wall of them at Walmart. And I remember like, Revenge of the Fallen came out like the summer of 2009, and then like holiday season came and they all disappeared. Like that wall of them disappeared. And I was like, ah, damn, that's too bad. But I waited and time passed. And then I went to a toy convention and some guy just had all pieces of it in a giant, like, it's not like a Ziploc bag. It's like a clear bag with like a zipper on it. I don't know if people know what I'm talking about. I think you get them at IKEA or something. He had like a complete set of them and he was a toy dealer. He just didn't care. He's like, oh, bro, give me $40 for it. I was like, okay, you know? And yeah, that Devastator at one point went up in value and it was worth money. Now it's like what? I don't know. It probably goes for nothing now. No one cares because it doesn't do the robot mode. So, but I've seen so many times that happens. Alden Tolber with the $2 super chat. The road to MP Waspinator is coming soon. If they do a masterpiece Waspinator, which I think they will, he better come apart. He has to. He has to have arms and legs that come off like a modulator. He has to have a little cube waspinator. He has to have like battle damage things. He has to come with a flat, like a paper waspinator kind of thing. When they did the Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, where like Link could turn into like a flat version of himself and attach to the wall and stuff, they did an action figure of Link, and he came with a plastic version of that. So I could see them coming with like a plastic version of a flat Waspinator. They could do some crazy stuff. They could do some crazy stuff. I think out of all the Predacons that are left to be done, I think definitely Waspinator would be the next one. Look, I like Scorponok, but he's not as interesting to people. Pterosaur, Pterosaur is a little more up there. I can't really see them doing like, geez, like Inferno. Like we already have a really good Inferno figure. Like to do, I don't know, like Black Arachnia was a given. They wanted to do a sexy female character, and that always sells well in the Japanese market. So it's no surprise how early like we got Black Arachnia before Rhinox. We got Black Arachnia before Tigatron. We got Black Arachnia before, I don't know, did we get her before Dinobot? I don't remember, but I know we got her before the others. Cheetor, I remember, was the second one, which was a given. Cheetor has always been popular, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But hopefully we'll get a nice Waspinator. I dig him. He's always been fun. Scott McNeil's great. And Scott McNeil's doing the conventions again, which is good to hear. Good to hear that Scotty's back on the convention scene. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. T Formers 2002. That Big Debbie was my '09 Christmas birthday gift. I won't forget my mom spending close to 1.5 to 2.5 hours just messing with the hundreds of twist ties and tape. That sounds like me with Armada Unicron. I remember Armada Unicron had like Armada Unicron. If you probably took all the twist ties and put them aside, you probably had enough plastic for like 2 deluxe figures. It was probably the amount of wasted, plastic that was probably used for Armada Unicron just to tie him down. And the funny thing is I don't remember the Energon Unicron. I'm going to point to everyone here. The Energon Unicron are being as much, and I don't remember like Primus or the Starscream, which you guys can't see because the mic is blocking. But I don't remember the others being as tied down. Maybe Aaron could account for that. I don't know the business side of it. Um, Joey's, does Hasbro still have the trademark for Whirl and and Roadbuster? Yes, they do for Whirl, 100%. They literally just slid it in at the end of Cyberverse, and then there was a character in Rescue Bots that they kept putting the Whirl trademark on over and over. Roadbuster, that's a tougher one. I think that one, I'd have to look into it. I think that one might have been expired by now, but I know Whirl, they've been keeping that one alive. They throw it on a whole bunch. It's a very versatile kind of name. Like you got a helicopter character, throw Whirl on it. Because again, like here, I'll reach over for her right here. This little gal kept the trademark alive for quite a bit. So yeah. Oh, was there Roadbuster in Studio Series? Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's true. You have the Wreckers. You're right. The movie Wreckers figures. There's Roadbuster there. So yeah, so they're alive. They're alive and well. Um, we did less after Armada Unicron cost and waste of greenness for the reasons of that change. Yeah, well, because I just remember you open that Armada Unicron, you go like, wow, this thing is really tied down. And we had like bolt cutters that we would use in my house that came from my father's like toolbox. And then I would use it for like model kits too. And that made it a lot easier as opposed to untying every twist tie. But then I remember like afterwards, the others were not as crazy at all. So Studio Series Dark of the Moon was back in 2020. So there you go. And again, it doesn't usually apply, like the trademark doesn't apply the day that that product's released. I'd have to go into the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and see when it was used. But the point is that that does confirm that at least within that bubble, there's something there. So I'll have to take a look. I'll have to take a look and see. Because, like, to give you an example, let's say they registered it in 2019, they released the product in 2020, it rolls over in 2023, they refresh the trademark for 2024, and then the trademark will expire in 2028. So they still have a couple of years to do another Roadbuster, which they probably will. Now, like I always say, it could be a full-fledged transforming action figure. It could be a little micro tiny turbo changer, or, like right now we have Swapticons. Hey, we're not doing anything with Roadbuster for the next 4 years. Put it on a Swapticon. Really? Yeah, just take that Shockwave mold and that half tank and just put some orange and brown and tan and green on it. It's just how it is. No joke. Aaron says here, no joke. Armada Unicron had 28 feet of twist ties. Oh my god, what a waste! And like I said, you could probably take all those twist ties, and it could have been the equivalency of like 2 deluxe Transformers. Granted, it's not the same kind of plastic. Twist ties use a very low quality MABS, but with a little metal wire in there, so you can even factor in there's some metal that's wasted too. But my goodness, what an amount of waste! Insane, and that's why we live in the world today of color coded paper strings. And hey, you know what? It looks snazzy. Actually, it looks better because if it would have been twist ties, they would have been white. It wouldn't have looked nice. Look, from far away, you don't even see it. And when you go in close, you're like, oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Credit to the package designers. Credit to them. But yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. But anyways, didn't get much this week. in terms of stuff. It was kind of a quiet week. Tomorrow I'm going to be going off island to a card show, so hopefully I'll find some cool stuff there. Usually I go to those card shows because sometimes, there's one thing I've learned with my father to record conventions. Once in a while, you go to like one of these conventions that are not related to toys, and you always have that one guy that still brings. I went to a vinyl record convention with my father. I want to say this was 20 years ago. And there was a guy that had a 100% complete G1 Skywarp and Sunstreaker. And I don't know what I paid, but it was high school and I wasn't working and we bought both of them, so it probably wasn't very much because I didn't have a lot of money back then. So we were probably able to get it for nothing. So, and I remember once also we went to a antique show and it was all old garbage antique stuff. And then sitting on the table of this guy was selling maps and posters and all this old crap. And there was a amazingly great condition UK Skyquake. Didn't have the missiles, didn't have his guns, but it's just great condition Skyquake just in there. I think I paid $5. So I always go to these conventions that are not toy conventions because you never know what you're going to find at them. Oh, it's a card show for sports, but then this guy, for whatever reason, brought all his 90s toys that he's just trying to get rid of. And hey, I'm going to get me some Mighty Max. You never know. You never know. So I'm going to be checking that out tomorrow. Ari Nuts with the $2 super chat. What rescue bot do you think we'll get after Heatwave? Well, we got Chase, we got Heatwave. I think that the logical next one will either be Blades or Boulder. Boulder might be a harder one. I don't know what's the deal with his trademark, if his trademark is still kicking around. But Blades would be an easy one because they got to do something with that from a Protectabot defensor standpoint. So I could see Blades. That's a helicopter, and there's going to be a lot of helicopter molds. Boulder is a very Constructicon kind of construction vehicle, and that's kind of more like we already have construction vehicles through Studio Series, so it's like I don't think they'll want to do a deluxe class or Voyager class that's so similar. But I could see them taking like Blades, doing a deluxe class of it, giving him his green color scheme stuff, and then that mold being used later on, or chicken before the egg for a combiner Blades. So I would see Blades. That's probably the logical conclusion. And obviously Optimus and Bumblebee fall into that too, but I could see Blades. That's probably the next one. And then you could do some of the more bots if you want to go into the deep cuts, the more bots, some of the bad guys, or who else we got here? Trying to see, Unicron's in the way of my Rescue Bots collection. I have a huge Rescue Bots collection, actually. So many of those I got so cheap. You want to talk about what do I see in the wild, like almost every time I go Transformer hunting? Rescue Bot toys. Tons of them. Tons of them. Because they're considered like play school toys. So there's always tons of those out there. And not to mention, I always find like Costco or they always seem to get rescue bots as as a seasonal item in like box sets. So then those get bought like crazy from Costco, and then they end up on the chopping block in the secondary market. Yeah, High Tide, that's a good one. T-formers, High Tide getting a nice big, a big Titan class, Titan class High Tide. Just do a retool of do like a nice big, redeco, retool, brand new tooling of partial of Tidal Wave. I'll be fine with that. Give a little, what was his name? Sparkplug, the little Dalmatian dog. You know, have some fun with that. That'd be cool. Um, but yeah, definitely. That's the one I could see. There's a lot of great ones. Like here, let me just grab some of the big boys. Ugh. You got like this big old hot shot here. They're all and all these, I swear, these I get for like nothing. I probably got this for like $2 or something. You know, it was like super simple, but they're fun. They're 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 a good example of like, not every Transformer toy has to be for you, but they serve a purpose because this is a gateway item for a 4-year-old, you know? It's simple, it's fun, it makes them connect with a character, it's appealing, it's the right colors. From the business side of it, the toy side of it, everything here makes sense and is firing on all cylinders in my opinion, you know? Kind of reminds me a little bit of Road Ranger from the GoBots. But yeah, Havoc with the $2 super chat. Do you think we'll get a Beast Wars second Scuba? I would like that. There's not much you could really do with it afterwards because you got Beast Wars second Scuba. He was called Clawjaw in America. And then you have like the UK repaint, the Icard repaint, which are like super deep cuts. Do you want to do a blue repaint? Or do you want to do a UK exclusive, green repaint? Which it's like, the problem is, what do you do with that mold afterwards? If you want to like do a like, oh, maybe we could get a Skyla out of it afterwards, the female squid piece from. But then we kind of already did get that through our God Neptune set that we got a few years ago. So I mean, I would dig it. I love Scuba. I love Clawjaw. It was a very unique design with the little boomerang and stuff. Just Beast Wars being Beast Wars. Just like, hey, why don't we do a squid? Let's see what we could do with that. That'd be fun. Why don't we do a bison? That'd be cool. I would like it, but I love Beast Wars. So you're preaching to the choir. Like I love Beast Wars. So anything Beast Wars is great. If you told me like, hey, would you like a man terror? Would you like, or is it Maniterror? Would you like Jetstorm, the Drake? That fly Drake thingy. The not Drake. What was it called? The Dragonfly. You know, would you like Jetstorm, the Dragonfly with the water squirt gimmick? Would you like an update of him? Sure. Okay. Retracts. Well, bring it on. Those are the ones I'll buy day one. I love those. Do I need to buy another Prowl? Do I need to buy another G1 Grimlock? Another, Huffer or this and that? No, but give me the Beast Wars guys. Last time I bought those guys, we're back in the day, almost 30 years ago. So when was the last time I bought a Prowl? I don't know. 2 years ago? 1 year ago? When was the last time I bought a Huffer? 1 year ago? 2 years ago? Give me something fresh. So I'm down for that. Always down for that. So I hope that kind of answers that. The emo. The emo. It's the 2000s with black hair over one eye. And Hot Topic. Dead Reckoning with the $10 super chat. If I were Hasbro, I would go to basics, retool molds from War for Cybertron, Earthrise, Studio Series 86, Legacy, and just recreate a new G1 like those molds. No more flops like Earthspark. Well, here's the thing, right? So the first question is, so you're saying take those molds, repaint them and retool them, and then make a show that's like a new G1. So what was the Netflix exclusive Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom series? It took those molds, turned it into a show, put it on arguably the largest streaming service platform that's payable, if you don't count YouTube. And after Earthrise, the viewership went down and then no one tuned in for Kingdom. I think Transformers needs to shake it up. Something new needs to happen, something fresh. No more G1. We have G1. You get G1 every year. We've been getting G1. Every year we've been getting G1 something. We don't need G1 fiction. We don't need that because I'll tell you this right now. We have G1 fiction. Kids have, if someone wants G1 fiction and they're 7 years old, they have it right now on YouTube for free. So they don't need G1 to sell the toys. They need something new that'll reinvigorate the product and then make people want that instead. That's the secret. And like Aaron Archer said, they tried that during G2, and we all know how G2 worked out. Look, if you love G2, that's great. Wacky colors, repaints, retools, recycling the cartoon. 12-issue series that died on the vine, gave us Straxus, not Straxus, G-Axis, which again, G-Ax us, because the comic was canceled. Simon Furman wasn't messing around. T-Formers 2002, high on Beast Wars list for me are Fusor, Airhammer. Airhammer's a good one. Shark Hawk Combiner. And the Neo Blentrons. The Blentrons would be cool. The Blentrons could happen if they want to have fun with some of those, like take that Dinobot we already got, the Voyager class, and do something with that, That's if they want to go that far, which I'm sure I could see them in a couple of years, like going, hey, maybe we'll revisit it. You know, maybe we'll revisit it. Where are we at? Where are we at? Brooke agreed. I think the brand is super stale right now. Yeah, you got it. We've had enough G1. We've had G1 longer than G1 was G1. G1, if you want to be technical, was 84 to 90, maybe 91 if you want to stretch it. I always say 90 really was the end. Because 91, you get into some UK exclusives here and there, but there really wasn't much at that point. So 84 to 90. So technically, G1 was only 6 years. Let me tell you something. We're already into year number 5 of 2020. We've been getting G1 shoved down our throat for 20 years in a nostalgia kind of way. Since Classics was created in 2006, it's been nonstop. Let's dial it back a little bit, you know? But yeah, that's why, like, we're seeing stuff like the crossover stuff. We're seeing stuff like like at least stuff like Earthspark, where they're trying to be a little different, but there's still too much G1 in the flavor. Havoc says, I think we need a full reboot, new faces, new stories, new everything. Yep. Yep. Imagine you do a Transformer series and the leader is an Optimus. Imagine if you do a Transformer series and the leader is in Megatron. And it's something completely radically new and different. It's animated well, it's written well, there's good characters. The toys don't necessarily have to be good. That's the thing. They could be like, if the toys were the same level of, like, let's say the Cyberverse toys were, where they could be gimmicky and stuff, but the show is a good advertisement for the product, then people will buy it, you know? Look, those Beast Wars toys were as good as they were going to be back then. They weren't 100% show accurate. They had the mutant head gimmick that never was used in the show, but except for like specific characters where it was their head. But at the same time, it sold because the show was so dynamic. Look at those early movie toys. All those 2007 movie toys, not all of them were extremely accurate to how they looked in the movie because they were designed, based off of animatics as opposed to the final product that Michael Bay and ILM put together in the end. But the movie did so well that they were selling hand over fist, ugly looking deluxe Bumblebee figures. So as long as like I said, earlier, as long as the fiction carries it, everything else is fine. We are buying all of these legacy and classics products, not based off of something new we watched, but based off of something we watched many years ago and it still is here. When we look at the latest Age of the Prime toys and we get excited about them, we're excited about them because they're based off of ideas that happened 10 to 20 to 30 years ago. No one's watching, the Age of the Prime products and going, oh my God, I'm so excited about Star Convoy because of the new show that we watched that Star Convoy's in. No, you're excited about Star Convoy. I'm not going to reach for it because you read a manga, or you remember an old Japanese, Return of Convoy, Battle Stars, manga story page or the original toy, something that happened 30 years ago. So the power of storytelling makes all the difference, and having it on the proper platform. The Toy Armada, aka Aaron, says Wreckers, other planets, other faction battles, beasts in a new way, on and on. Yeah, Transformers is so big. There's such a big universe. There's so many characters, thousands of characters, thousands. Imagine if you just took every minicon you made an Energon and just isolated those characters, all like 97 trademarks of minicons that you did. The story of Dulor and Cliff Jumper, which is apparently a female purple, thing, and the Snowplow, which was Iceberg, and their adventures stuck on a planet. Like, if you could tell a good story, if you could tell a good story. Um, where are we at? Where are we at? The current Image comics are fire. The current Image comics are amazing, But the one problem, like I said, write really good dynamic storytelling and put it on a platform that people will be able to find it. The problem is that, and this is no offense to the comic industry, I work in the comic industry. No one's reading comics really. And that's the problem. You could have the most fire amazing stories, but how many people are actually reading? Why so many people ask me, how come you don't talk about the IDW comics on your podcast? And I'm like, because the IDW stories, a lot of them were really good, but no one has read them. And I feel that the IDW comics are going to be a lot like the old Marvel comics. There is still going to be people today that are going to be picking up that Nightbeat Matrix Quest book for the very first time today, even though that was 30 years ago. Actually, it's more than that, 35 years ago, you know? So with the comics, I'm a lot more hesitant to talk about only because people don't have the opportunities. They don't know the right websites to go to. They don't have the trade paperbacks they could buy. What's up, Mikey and Louie? What's up? So it's something where to me, I just feel that, you know, comic books just they never end up in the right hands of people. It could be the most amazing. Like here's the thing that every time, look, everyone loves those Avengers movies when they first came out, right? No one one of my favorite comic books of all time is The Ultimates #1. One of my favorite comics of all time. I love The Ultimates. Love that. It was a short run series. Mark Millar, great book. All of that was what those Avengers movies was pulling from. Now, of those millions and millions and billions of people that saw those Avengers movies, how many of them then went out and read Ultimates #1? Nobody. Nobody. If you didn't already have read it, that's about it. The people who read it before were probably the people who read it. No one went out and bought. And that's the reality of it is the comic industry is kind of in a different place. And it's not the best way. It's a great place to brainstorm ideas, but it's not the place where the ideas will truly flourish and advertise. We're not the 80s anymore. You're not putting out an Inhumanoids, a Chris Star, a Rom the Space Knight, a trying to think of another one, Ring Raiders, Mask, all these different companies, IPs that had comic books to advertise the toys. Power Lords, there's another one. Visionaries, you know, they were able to put out a comic book to advertise the toys and find relative success. Even Thundercats to an extent with, I think it was Marvel that did the comics. Oh no, I think it was Star, which was Marvel's imprint. Either way, trying to go through the archive of my brain here. But yeah, so it's a different world. So Ultimates by Millar is sick. It's guys, if you're gonna read one comic book, read issues 1 to 12, the Ultimates. And then after that, if you love it, read Ultimates 2, which is just as good. You could buy it omnibus off of Amazon. You could buy trade paperback individuals of the first run alone. It's out there. It's easy to get. If you love those Avengers movies, that's where it all started. Nick Fury came from that, and it's the best version of Captain America, in my opinion. It's my favorite version of Cap. Ultimate's Cap, it will always be my favorite Captain America. And that's what Chris Evans with the bucket hat and the shield and everything in First Avengers, it was kind of a homage to that Captain America and that design. Great stuff. But again, no one read it. And it's one of the greatest comic books of all time. And no one read it, and it was based off of a multi-billion-dollar movie. Like the movie was based off of it, and no one read it. So like that's something where the comic book thing, as great as they are, it's always going to be kind of just this think tank. Like I almost feel like comic books now are more just for us hardcore fans, and then it could just act as like storyboards for something in the future, like an idea. We get a lot of cool comic exclusive characters that end up being used in the fiction. Tarn is a good example, being used in like Cyberverse and stuff. So it could kind of just be that kind of area, you know? It could be where the ideas are born, but it's not going to be where the ideas flourish, you know? So we will see. There's a new Ultimates book coming out right now, and it's great too. It is. It is. Mikey and Louie, we stopped reading the Transformer comics after Marvel because there were so many. Well, if you say after Marvel, that means the next thing you would have been hitting up, if you don't count Blackthorn, would be Dreamwave. And yeah, Dreamwave made a lot of covers and had a lot of problems. They were great books, though. Don't get me wrong. Just a lot of issues within that company. Lizard Sphere X, man, I'd kill for a reissue of the original figures of the Power Lords. I've been a Wayne Barlow fan all my life. Yeah, man, Power Lords are cool too. Oh, here's some Aaron. Here's the deal with all of it. Older fans want to grow up with and often do not embrace new visions, see Star Wars, but merchandise needs kids to drive the license's platform revenue and drive the future. That's, I always go back to wrestling. Like the WWE created the biggest boom that it ever had during the Attitude Era. 1997 to 1999 was the most money that the WWF ever made and ever will make. But the one mistake, and even Vince admitted that, was during that era, while it was the greatest era, it was aimed completely at an age 15 to adult demographic. It was not for kids at all. So when they went into the next era, the ruthless aggression era in 2002, everything was down because the adults became adulting and they had to worry about mortgages and this and that. They weren't buying t-shirts, they weren't going to events, they were maybe tuning in once in a while, and they didn't have a new influx of fans that would grow into that 15 to whatever demographic because they were alienated out of it because they weren't watching it. They were, and to be fair, in 1997 to 1999, that's when Pokemon came out. So obviously kids weren't really, when we were like cheering on Stone Cold and looking at boobies through Sable and everything and the Attitude Era's wackiness and Val Venus and all that, kids were playing with Pokemon. So when the ruthless aggression era happened, kids were in their world and they're doing their thing. So you have to foster that new market. And that's when the PG era in wrestling was created. John Cena and all of that. And hey, it worked out for them. Worked out great. But they had to do that. They had to do that. And it's the same thing. You have to foster a new market. You can't just focus on the older guys. We're going to be gone and dead one day. And a lot of them also, they don't have the disposable income. They don't. They have mortgages, they have families, they have this and that. So yeah, he'll be able to buy that one or two figures, but you need to focus on the bigger thing, which is the Christmas presents of kids that are every year. Um, Brooks says, I just watched the Vince McMahon documentary and insane from a non-pro wrestling fan perspective. Brother, let me tell you something, and Aaron could account for this whenever I talk with Aaron. I equate so much of business in this world, money making, transactions, how you run business, I equate so much of it to wrestling. The wrestling world is the carny world. It's the slicksters, it's the talking, it's the how do you convince people to be interested in something that might not really be that interesting? The wrestling world is a fascinating world. What are you doing, Tiny? The wrestling world is a fascinating world, and the more you learn about it from the inside of it, the more it helps you understand, like just the business side. What is she doing? I think she's trying to steal some pieces of figures. I call her the klepto cat because she steals things. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're watching the Royal Rumble right now. I know I'm going to be watching it in replays, unfortunately. But the wrestling world, like from the business side of it, you learn so much. You learn so much in how it applies to everything else in life. You know, you really do. Um, oh, what is she doing? One moment, guys. I'll be right back. What are you doing? What are you doing, madam? Wow. Wow. This cat. This shows. This shows that she was a stray. That was a bad. She literally had this in her mouth and she was trying to go up the stairs. It's a gravity bot Starscream. I had a bin of like loose figures that I was going to be bringing to TFCon Toronto, and I was just like consolidating them in the other room. She had it in her mouth and she dropped it. And that's what made me turn around going, what the hell did she just drop? She had this in her mouth. Imagine. This cat, I've never had that before. She's like stealing stuff and bringing it everywhere. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. That's a heavy one too for her to carry. You know, Cyberverse Deluxe Class Optimus, where you could open up his chest and there's like this blast that you could put on the Matrix inside it. I had it on display on my shelving and I left the door open because I was like putting in figures. I walked away and then she came back and she's coming back now. She came back. She took that like blast effect, put it in her mouth, went up 2 flights of stairs because this is the basement. She goes up 2 flights of stairs, and then I find it in front of my bathroom. And I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, because when you see something like, that doesn't belong in that spot of the house, I'm like, what is this? Because it didn't click at the time. And I'm like, is this Optimus's blast effect from Cyberverse? And I go downstairs and it was missing. She ripped it off, carried it in her mouth, brought it up 2 flights of stairs in front of my bathroom. What a crazy cat. I wonder if I could. Oh, she ran back upstairs. I want to grab her and show her to you guys, but yeah, she's funny. She's fun. Oh, she has plenty of toys. She's driving Butters crazy. She has plenty of toys. We got her on Amazon. You can look it up. It's like a fish that when you touch it, it flops around. It's like a cod or like a bass. So we bought her that. She loves that thing. Um, Starscream can't catch a break. No, he can't. Especially movie Starscream. This is the Revenge of the Fallen tattooed one. We had a super chat. Hold on, let me get to the super chat. Sorry, Rudy Mac. Let me just get to the other one. Oh, it was Reeks. Reeks, you didn't ask a question. You just super chatted. Reeks, ask a question, brother. Don't just super chat. Take care, Aaron. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the night, my friend. We're almost done here today, too. But we'll take a few more super chats before we go. Rudy Mac with the $5 super chat. Cat did not select a G1 toy. Well, no, this I have like a bucket here. I don't want to reach for it now, but I have a huge bucket of stuff. I've been getting a whole bunch of little cheapy movie toys and stuff, and I've just been like going through them, making sure that they're not broken, the springs are okay, the paint's good on them, and just a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to be bringing to the TFCon Toronto for the parts party. So just been putting through that, and she literally went into the bucket and took it out. I was worried too because in that same bucket there's a whole bunch of like just extra pieces for Omega Prime, like just like armor pieces, and I'm like so worried she's gonna steal one of those and that's gonna get lost, like under the couch or something, you know. So, but what a naughty little cat. What a naughty little cat. But yeah, Starscream tends to be a fans with the ladies. Yeah, she's a female cat. Butters is male and Tiny is female. But she's a kitten. She's still young. These little grabby bots. It's funny little ones. Oh, here we go. Reeks. I was bringing up with how animated worked so well because it was a fresh concept with the Autobots as superheroes. Well, animated, to be fair, and I'm not trying to belittle animated because I still like animated's top 3 Transformer series in my opinion. I love animated. Um, but I also think animated was helped by the fact that the movies were very successful because the 2007 movie came out, it was ridiculously popular, and that was the first Transformer series that just there it is. Hey guys, here's the newest Transformer series. So it's animated was great, but I think anything that would have came out coming out like if Earthspark came out in 2008, everyone would have loved it regardless of that. And I'm not saying that animated isn't good. I'm just saying that it was very lucky that also it was riding the wave, so to speak, of the success of that first Michael Bay movie and all the hype. So, but yeah, animated is amazing. Like I don't want to like take away from it, but I also want to add a logical. You got to sometimes understand why something is successful. And it was like perfect timing, great designs. Yeah, great designs, unique characters. The figures are fantastic. Derek's amazing. Marty Eisenberg's an incredible writer. Like I could go on, but also very lucky to have like that wave of excitement. You know, very lucky to have that. Joey with the $2 super chat might want to train that cat not to chew on toy parts. She doesn't chew on them. she just like picks them up in her mouth, and she like, I call her the klepto cat because she steals things. She steals them and then she just puts them somewhere and she just leaves them. Because like everything that she's taken, she hasn't damaged them. That's the thing that's crazy. Like this one here too. Like she doesn't. She just kind of like, you know. I hope that wasn't where she put it. Yeah. But but you know what I'm saying? Like Dead Reckoning, $5 super chat. Why not continue with a sequel of Beast Machines or perhaps spiritual successor? Because that requires education. If you do a sequel, how hard are you leaning into it being a sequel? Are you doing it like a sequel like Beast Wars, which it's like a soft reboot in that, yeah, Beast Wars was technically a sequel of Generation 1, but it was also a huge time jump that you didn't really need to know the past. And at the time when Beast Wars was created as a show, it wasn't even really intended to be a sequel of G1. They just kind of kept it vague because you didn't need to have the research. So the big problem is you never want to do a show where people have to do homework, especially if it's for little kids. If you have to go, oh, we're going to do a sequel to Beast Machines, and all of the stuff in it is going to be mentioning and talking about a show that came out 20 years ago. By the way, a show that came out 20 years ago that underperformed on Fox Kids, Beast Machines, and the toy line did very poorly, Beast Machines. Um, I wouldn't go that route. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of red flags there that I would not apply when doing that. And yeah, Len Wyn's amazing. He was a Wolverine writer. He did stuff at Marvel. Len Wyn actually did other Transformer episodes too. He did some G1 episodes also. But you got to be careful with that. Marla gave us Animated gave us Bulkhead. Gave us an amazing Prowl too. The Ninja Prowl was awesome. Even the Bumblebee was a good Bumblebee. Gave us a more rat trappy kind of Bumblebee through Bumper Robinson. Like again, it's something where I think you need to go radically different, have no baggage of the past that you need to rely on to know what's going on. I mean, it's something where Beast Wars was really smart with that. Beast Wars really didn't start like making you have to do research until oh, hey, here's Starscream in the episode Possession. But by the time the episode Possession had aired, which was like the second half of season 1, they were rushing it. Beast Wars was the number one kids product with Kenner at the time. It wasn't even with Hasbro yet. So that second half of season 1, by the time you got to the Trigger part 1 and 2, which was like season 1, and then you had season 1.5 for the second half. By the time we started talking about G1, they had already, won over the national audience, So to me, I think you need to start from scratch, do something really unique. And if it fails, then at least you tried, because it's worse to do something extremely different and fail than to do the same thing over and over and just have mediocrity. We've been doing the G1 kind of slavishly loyal thing for so long, and none of them have been the standout, blowout success rates. The crazy thing is like when you really look at it, Armada did ridiculously well. It trickled down, unfortunately, during Energon. And as much as I love Galaxy Force, aka Cybertron, also didn't do well in the ratings. The 2007 movie came out, everything exploded. So Animated was very successful because of the 2007 movie. Again, I love Animated, but I'm just saying part of its success was because of the 2007 movie doing well. Transformers Prime also enjoyed that success, but because especially by the time Revenge of the Fallen was done its run, now we're going into Transformers Prime. So it also enjoyed an audience. Dark of the Moon then saw the dip. And then by the time you get to RID 2015, it's suffering from that dip. Cyberverse is suffering from that dip, even though it's a great show. It's suffering from that dip. No one cared by the time Earthspark came around, and Earthspark already has a weak audience of people not watching, combined with the fact that it's not that great a show. It's okay. It's not like, oh my God, it's amazing. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it's not like amazing either. And I really would like if the human element wasn't part of it so much, but that's just my take. Great designs and great characters, though. So it's just, if I had to, we'll kind of end it on this. But if I had to do it, it would have to be a complete departure. Let it be its own thing in its own world. I would personally, and I don't want to go too deep into it because I'd be selling you an idea that I'd be giving away for free. But you know what? Maybe I will keep it to myself because there is a future out there of good stuff that Proto Man could put together for Hasbro. But let's put it this way: there's a secret sauce to it, and that secret sauce has worked before. Always look to history to learn, but always look to history also to succeed. Uh, The Art of War, which is a very famous book, is still applied to military warfare today because what worked back then still works today, and what failed back then still fails today. And when you have a company that sometimes you have a rotating crew of people creatively, you have people come in, they make those mistakes, but instead of learning from those mistakes and then learning from the past, they're taken off the company, and then nothing happens, and a new person comes in and makes the same mistake again and again. Some guy comes in and goes, "Let's redo G1. Oh, that's going to be the greatest. I loved G1." It didn't work. "All right, bro, you're fired. Bye." And then they hire a new guy. "All right, here's the new guy. It's going to be right. All right, let's do G1. I want to do G1 because G1 was great. Okay, let's do it." Then it's just, you can't do that every time. You can't do that every time. But we'll cover that another time. We'll cover that another time. You want a continuation of season 5. Again, I call that Headmasters. Headmasters Master Force Victory Zone. You already got it, and it was not bad. Master Force was great. Victory is great. Headmasters has its moments. But you already got it. Earth's Mightiest Heroes is also amazing, and a product of being canceled because of the success of the Avengers movies. If Earth's Mightiest Heroes would have came out after the Avengers movies, we'd be talking about it in a much more mainstream light than just the weirdos like me who love it. But yeah, we are done for tonight. We're at the 2-hour mark. We also went over a little bit. We popped out around like 180 people at one point. So yeah, great stuff as always, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Once again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, we have the Patreon link down there. Go check out the Patreon if you want to help support the podcast. Gives you access to the Discord. It gets your name in the end credit scrolls. If you want to support the podcast, but you don't want to do just the Patreon, we also have that join YouTube member join thing. Those are the beautiful green names on the side that we're asking a bunch of questions here today. They also get access to like the giveaways that we do and all the crazy stuff also. So again, that's if you want to help out the podcast on an extra sense. Otherwise, we'll be talking again in the near future. Looks like we're going to probably be having some Nuremberg news. Maybe we'll be doing a live, not a live stream, but a segment tomorrow. We'll check it out then. People want to know what I'm having for dinner. I went to a Jewish bakery with my wife. We bought a crap ton of stuff: bagels, karnotzels, potato knishes, spinach knishes, babka, whole bunch of stuff. We spent like $40 on just a whole bunch of. It's going to feed us for like the next 3 days. Let's put it that way. Karnotzels is like a meat kind of thing, so we're going to be eating all of it over the next 3 days or so for sure. So we're going to be having that tonight too. I love bagels. I love a good sesame seed bagel. And there's this great like Jewish bakery that's near us that we always go to that makes everything fresh. So great stuff. Thank you again, everyone. Oh, Lag Y, what's up? So we will be talking in the near future. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, your loved one. I'm going to go play some video games. I didn't get to play a Nintendo Switch recently. I'll give a little shout out to it. Nintendo Switch recently updated their Nintendo Online service, and they put Super Ninja Boys on it, which is a sleeper RPG that not a lot of people played back in the day. It's a fun little RPG. So I've been kind of revisiting. I haven't played it in like 35 years. So I'm like replaying it again for the first time. So love it, love it, love it, love it. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Take care. And as always, roll out.